Justice Page, Dr. Sullivan, members of our Law School Board of Governors, faculty, administrative leaders, and staff of the School of Law, graduates of the class of 2018, and honored guests, welcome to you all. This is a day to celebrate. We honor and congratulate our graduates. This should also be a day of prayerful gratitude. Thanks to God for the gifts of your many talents, for all that you have achieved and received during your time at St. Thomas, gratitude for the lifelong friendships you have formed here, gratitude for our law school community and the mission that serves as our foundation for the opportunity to integrate your deepest commitments and core values into your professional lives, and gratitude for the family and friends who have supported you. You are the class of 2018. You chose St. Thomas, a law school dedicated to educating the whole person, as the first stage of what will be a career-long journey of professional formation. Over 3 years, or 1 year, depending on your program, our school has undoubtedly shaped you, but you have also shaped our school. You've come from all over the country and all over the world to contribute to a distinctive law school community that educates students to be morally responsible leaders who think critically, act wisely, and work skillfully to advance the common good. You've shown intelligence and spunk inside our classrooms. You've been challenged by all our professors, inspired by many, and terrified by a few. You've advocated for the immigrant, for the elderly, for the prisoner, for the poor. You've worked for the reform of the federal clemency system. You've expanded our school's footprint into the compliance departments of more Fortune 500 companies than ever before. Through your leadership of our law journals, you've brought crucial attention to legal developments and topics ranging from human trafficking to religious liberty to academic freedom to blockchain technology. You've spent time at the United Nations working on behalf of the Catholic Church to promote human rights. You've been busy in non-academic pursuits too. You are not content to spend all of your time in a library group study room, and many of you have seen more of the Twin Cities in 3 years, and in the case of our LLM students, 1 year, than some local residents do in a lifetime. You've made clear that prom is not just for high schoolers, and that a law school can actually field a very good hockey team. And you've started what has to be the nation's #1 law school comedy improv troupe. You've shown such a commitment to your classmates that some of you, I am told, have formed committed romantic relationships that appear likely to last far beyond law school. To be clear, we do not require this of our alumni, but we certainly do not discourage it. We are grateful for the many ways in which you have helped build the law school, shaped the nature of our community, advanced our mission, and shown a degree of personality that has been welcome and energizing. As your dean, and on behalf of Dr. Sullivan, our faculty, staff, trustees, and Board of Governors, I extend our thanks and gratitude. Before we proceed further, I'd like to introduce our platform party to you. From your right to your left, we first have Dr. Julie Sullivan, president of our university. Dr. Sullivan will be conferring our degrees today. Next to Dr. Sullivan is the Honorable Alan Page, former Justice of the Minnesota Supreme Court and co-founder of the Page Education Foundation. Justice Page is our keynote speaker. Next is Dane Knutson, a member of the class of 2018 and our student speaker this afternoon. Next are Brian Wenger, chair of our Board of Governors, the Honorable Elizabeth Hayden, and Kate Hibbard, also representing our Board of Governors. Please join me in welcoming this distinguished group to our graduation ceremony. I now invite the Wenger Family Faculty Fellow, Father Dan Griffith, to deliver the invocation.
Good and gracious God, we bless and praise your holy name. For you, O Lord, are the source of all that is good. Out of nothing you fashioned the beauty of creation and ordered it according to your divine wisdom. we stand before you today with hearts full of gratitude for your generous bounty, for your providential care, and for the lives and gifts of our graduates. Today, in a special way, we thank you for the gift of wisdom and truth and for the gift of law. Bless these law graduates today and throughout their lives as they seek to serve you and their neighbor. Help them to be good stewards of the law, so they may generously serve those around them, especially the poor and marginalized. Send your guiding spirit upon them, the spirit of wisdom and courage. Help them integrate into their lives faith and reason as they pursue the truth that comes from you. Help them live virtuous and authentic lives that give glory to you, O God. Cultivate their hearts so that they may be humble and merciful, and cultivate their minds so they may discern your wisdom and act with prudence. May these graduates bear much fruit through their work in this noble profession, and may they help direct the law to the goals of justice and the common good. We make this humble prayer to you, our just and merciful God. Amen.
Thank you, Father Griffith. Before we proceed to our next speaker, let me call your attention to our commencement program. Each of you should be able to find your favorite member of the class of 2018 listed in the program with their prior undergraduate and graduate degrees. The long list of names might seem just that, a long list of names, but we know better. Each name you see is the center of someone's world. And speaking on behalf of our faculty and staff, we try to remember that every day we get to spend with them. Each one of these graduates has contributed in unique ways to our law school community and richly deserves our congratulations. But let me take a brief moment to call your attention to several students who deserve special recognition. In your program, we first list and recognize those students who are likely to achieve high academic honors, the just reward for 3 years of truly exceptional academic performance and achievement. If you then turn to the next page, we list the students who have logged at least 100 hours of service to our community and several who dedicated literally hundreds of hours of public service. As most of you know, our School of Law requires its students to dedicate a certain number of hours, at least 50, to community service. The graduates who have performed more than 100 hours of service have gone above and beyond our law school vision that we are all asked by God to serve others, particularly those who are most in need of our care. We then list the graduates who have volunteered more than 50 law-related service hours under the auspices of the Minnesota Justice Foundation. Together, the class of 2018 has performed more than 8,000 hours of community service during their time at law school. Congratulations, and on behalf of the many people you have served, we extend our sincere thanks. And finally, we highlight these students whose contributions to our distinctive mission have been so excellent that we presented them over the past 3 years with our mission awards. These students have embodied our mission of integrating faith and reason in the search for truth through a focus on morality and social justice. I would next like to take a moment to thank the class of 2018 for one more important contribution. Like the previous classes, this class has presented the School of Law with a class gift. More than 90% of the class have contributed. This year's class has funded a summer public interest fellowship and purchased a collection of board games for the library. As any law student can attest, sometimes a break for chess with a friend will be more productive than another hour spent with a casebook, no matter how caffeinated you might be. I would especially like to thank the 3 Ls who have led the successful fundraising for the class of 2018 gift: Amanda Heinrich, Kimberly Kuchel, and Kelsey Stahl. Thank you for your excellent and diligent work, and thank you, class of 2018. I'm now pleased to introduce Dane Knudsen. The members of the class of 2018 selected Dane to address our graduation ceremony on their behalf, and an inspired choice you have made. During his time here at the law school, Dane has contributed to our community through his work on the Law Journal, his creative collaboration with classmates founding a legendary improv comedy troupe, his research assistant work for Professors Schultz and Sisk, and his externship in the chambers of Judge Magnuson, for whom he will clerk before joining the law firm of Dorsey and Whitney. A word to Dane's family, particularly his parents, Paul and Natalie, his sisters Melody and Kayla, and his fiancée, Rachel. Dane has shown excellent leadership at our school, has displayed more than his share of God-given creativity, has formed strong friendships, and has worked hard. Not only is he going to make the world a better place, he has already made the world a better place. And let me make a broader point. The reason I've spent a couple of minutes telling you about Dane is to underscore the fact that every single one of our graduates has a story to tell. A story of hard work, of stress and uncertainty and friendship and resilience and perseverance and achievement, and of a vocation that calls them to use their gifts to advance the common good. We don't have time for each one of these amazing graduates to share their stories, so they've selected Dane to speak for them all. So now, class of 2018, please give a rousing welcome to your choice to speak on your behalf, Dane Knutson.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not a crier, but you almost got me there, Dean Vischer. I'll be honest. First, a very sincere thank you to Justice Page, Dr. Sullivan, the Board of Governors, Dean Vischer, and our generous benefactors. I'd also like to take a moment to selfishly thank my family and my amazing fiancée, Rachel, for their love and support throughout my law school experience. I would like all of my classmates to join me in a round of applause for our families, friends, and loved ones that have helped us make it through this journey. Thank you. Some of my classmates may remember that during our 1L year, I kept track of some fun statistics about law school. These included things like the number of times I was cold called, the number of hours we spent taking exams, and the number of times Connor Doyle mentioned that he used to live in Texas. It was several. My classmates have asked me on more than a few occasions whether or not I kept up with these statistics, and sadly I did not. But I did keep track of a few new statistics, and that's what I'd like to share with all of you today. So, statistic number 1, the number of memories that we will all have of law school. Thousands. American legend and American Idol, Kelly Clarkson once said, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." And that has never been more true than in law school. The memories are both good and bad, but they all helped get us to where we are today. I'm sure some of your good memories are the same as mine. Maybe a professor went out of their way to help you. You were pleasantly surprised by an exam grade. Or you accomplished a goal or landed a job that you desperately wanted. Obviously, you'll want to hang on to those memories and cherish them. But don't forget about the bad memories either, because those got us here today just as much as the good ones did. So remember that time you walked out of a test and felt absolutely demolished, because it made you a stronger person. Remember that sheer terror lightning bolt that hits you when you get cold called and have no idea what the professor is asking you, because that helped you think on your feet. And remember, Wally, the time that you loudly took the Lord's name in vain in a 60-person torts class in front of the professor, who was a literal priest. We all got a lot of laughs out of that, and I thank you for your sacrifice. Statistic number 2, the number of passions, both legal and non-legal, that I have seen in all of you. Countless. Multi-platinum recording artist Kelly Clarkson once said, "This is my heartbeat song and I'm gonna play it." And that's what all of you have done, you beautiful people, you. Learning about what you all love, both about the law and about life, has improved the law school experience for each and every one of us. I have met classmates who love discussing stare decisis, the merits of religious freedom, and the pros and cons of broad executive power. I have even met a classmate who is interested in tax law, and I honestly thought those people were an urban legend, so good for you. In It's not just legal stuff either, though. I've met classmates who are passionate about football, calligraphy, yoga, smoked meats, and everything in between. Hold on to those passions as you head into practice, because they should always be a part of who you are. In 5 years, I want to hear that Molly Huff is still passionate about empowering women. In 5 years, I want to hear that Francine Kuplik is still passionate about improv comedy. And in 5 years, I want to hear that Connor Carey is still passionate about bench pressing stuff. Your passions make you who you are and have shaped the lawyers that you'll become. Don't lose those things in the mess and hectic nature of legal practice. Statistic number 3, the number of times I've seen Professor Organ wearing socks with his Birkenstocks. Entirely too many. That goes for you too, Professor Sisk. Statistic number 4, the percentage that we will support each other going into our legal career, 100%. 3-time Grammy Award-winning artist Kelly Clarkson once said, "I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly." And that's what we're all going to do, but we don't have to do it alone. I've heard many people say that our graduating class is like a family, and I wholeheartedly agree. Very much like Josh Curry and his specific chair on the first floor of the library, we have at times clung to one another during law school. Whether it was having a study buddy, friends to get away from the school with, or someone you could simply rant to about how you don't understand easements and never will, we've been there for each other. What a blessing to have classmates that treat you like a family and not simply like competition. And although the start of law school may have randomly divided us into sections, I want everyone to know, whether you were A or B, we are all one family together, and all of you have made the law school experience one to remember. So let's make a promise now to stay in touch with each other. Listen to your classmate who had a bad day in court. Head up to the cabin for a long weekend with your law school friends. If you're going into big law, buy your classmates a mid-sized sedan. Anything can help. My point is, supporting each other got us this far, and it can get us even farther. So do me this favor and don't be a stranger. As my time comes to an end, I want to recap the statistics I've talked about today. Number 1, cherish the memories. Whether we realize it or not, it will never be like this again. Sharing the same hallways, ideas, and dreams with you amazing people. So remember walking out of class to see your friends in those comfy chairs in the hallway smiling at you. Remember the epic ping pong matches from the paddle battles. Remember the law proms where you made way too many mistakes. It's been an honor to make those mistakes and memories with all of you. Number 2, keep your passions. What a sad world it would be if we all just turned into law practicing robots the second we got this degree. Keep flourishing in all aspects of your life, and I guarantee your clients, coworkers, friends, and family will all feel the positive impact. Number 3, support each other and keep the family ties of our class strong. I feel that I have a special connection with all of you, even those of you I haven't gotten to know that well. In the course of writing this speech, I've heard that sentiment from countless classmates. I believe that is what makes this, the class of 2018, special. We are a family. Let's not lose that just because we happen to start working. In conclusion, I'd like to say to each and every one of you, my life would suck without you, which is also the title of a song by pop sensation Kelly Clarkson. But it's true. It's been my privilege to earn this degree with you, to learn alongside you. And finally, I love you, I'll miss you, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dane. It's now my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Alan Page. Justice Page was born in Canton, Ohio. He graduated from Canton Central Catholic, received his BA from Notre Dame and his JD from the University of Minnesota Law School. After graduating from law school, he worked as an attorney with a law firm in Minneapolis, then served 7 years as an attorney in the office of the Minnesota Attorney General. He sought election to the Minnesota Supreme Court in 1992 and won, becoming the first African American on the court and one of the few associate justices ever to join the court initially through election rather than appointment. When Justice Page was reelected in 1998, he received the most votes in Minnesota history. He was reelected in 2004 and 2010 and served until he reached the mandatory retirement age of 70 in 2015. Some of you might know that law was Alan Page's second career. He was also a pretty decent football player. At Notre Dame, he led the school's storied football program to the 1966 National Championship, and in 1993, he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. He was a first-round draft choice of the Minnesota Vikings in 1967, and he played for the Vikings until 1978. Now, what Minnesotans sometimes forget is that he finished his career playing 3 seasons for the greatest football team in human history, my hometown Chicago Bears. During his NFL career, Alan Page played in 218 consecutive games, earning All-Pro honors 6 times, and was voted to 9 consecutive Pro Bowls. He remains one of only 2 defensive players in history to be named MVP of the league, and in 1988, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Also in 1988, Justice Page and his wife Diane founded the Page Education Foundation, which assists Minnesota students of color in their pursuit of post-secondary education. To date, the foundation has awarded $14 million in grants to nearly 7,000 students. Please welcome Alan Page.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I begin, let me just say it's a good thing that, and I'm happy that, everybody had a seat when the music stopped. President Sullivan, Dean Vischer, members of the Law School administration, faculty, staff, family and friends of today's graduates, and most importantly, the class of 2018. Let me begin by saying thank you. Thank you for the warmth of your welcome and for allowing me to share my thoughts with you on this very special occasion. Now, the day I received my law degree, it would not have occurred to anyone present that I might someday be speaking to a graduating class such as yours as a former Minnesota Supreme Court justice. But like the path that brought me to this moment, the path that each of you graduates take will provide an opportunity for you to accomplish that which you never dreamed possible. The key to whatever success I have had, however defined, can be found in an unwillingness to be satisfied with playing to the level of the competition, a willingness to push beyond my self-perceived limitations, and a willingness to be involved in the community around me. These qualities have served me well, and I believe that they could serve each of you well. Congratulations, graduates, for a job well done. Your preparation and hard work have paid off, and you should be proud. What a wonderful gift you have given yourselves. And I can appreciate the conflicting emotions that you may be experiencing, from the relief of having no more lectures, finals, or tuition, to the anticipation, coupled with what I suspect is maybe a little bit of apprehension that comes with new beginnings, to the sense of accomplishment and pride that all of us share this afternoon, and the fear that your graduation speaker will drone on forever, saying nothing of particular relevance, and prolonging the moment until the real celebration can begin. Recognizing that what I say here today might well not be long remembered, normally I would focus my remarks on the future, on hope, and the role that each of us can play in making the future better and brighter. Today I want to focus on something a little bit different, something that I perceive to be a clear and present danger to our collective future. That something is the decline in our in both our political and our general discourse. When we look around, we see greed, a lack of civility, if not aggressive incivility, political leaders saying one thing and then doing something entirely different, and lately the acceptance of, in some circles, of political bullying tactics as the norm. If such bullying is acceptable at the highest levels of our government, why isn't it acceptable for the average Jane or Joe, or Jane or Joe's children? Of even greater concern to me are political leaders who appear to see no problem in making demonstrably false statements as a matter of course. When our leaders send the message that lying is okay, our democracy is headed for serious trouble. Clearly, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And as you learned here at the law school, it is fair to have a debate about the reasonable inferences to be drawn from the available facts. But none of us are entitled to our own facts. We cannot afford to have lying become normalized. We must be intentional about calling out lies and about talking to young people about not lying, because lying strikes at the heart of trust, and without trust, we have nothing. I believe that what we're seeing is what we've been seeing in athletics for a long time. It's the equivalent of the intimidation and taunting seen on athletic fields. To me, this reflects and is symptomatic of a real decline in our character. Now, the American Heritage Dictionary defines character as moral or ethical strength, integrity, fortitude. In a sense, character is who we are at our core. It's what determines what we believe and how we respond to a given situation. Character is not something we're born with, and it does not develop automatically. It must be consciously developed. Nor is it something that is static. Whether you're 50 or 15, 5 or 75, a member of the St. Thomas Law School administration, faculty or staff, one of today's graduates, a family member or friend of a graduate, or a former Supreme Court justice, you will be forced to renew and reevaluate your character again and again. To resist the pressures and temptations that seduce us to make the easy choices rather than the right choices takes a strong person. And I don't mean strong in the physical sense, for physical stature really has nothing to do with character. I do mean, however, strong in the sense of believing that each one of us has an obligation to act in ways that builds rather than diminishes our character and the character of those around us. That means we must be honest and trustworthy, saying what we mean and meaning what we say. It means keeping our promises, playing fairly, telling the truth, making decisions with others in mind, always treating people with respect, and respecting ourselves. It means working to figure out the difference between right and wrong, and then doing what is right. The fact that I was once considered to be a great football player, or that I was a Supreme Court justice, by itself doesn't mean that I am a man of good character. The fact that the color of my skin may be different from yours doesn't mean that I am not a man of good character. The fact that your language, religion, or gender may be different from mine doesn't make either one of our characters better or worse. The outward differences which identify us as individuals do not define the content of our character. That is defined by how we act on an ongoing basis. Through our actions, we have the power to impact not only our own character, but the character of those around us. Consciously applying the values you learned here at St. Thomas will serve you well as you strive to be a person of good character. Doing so will also serve you well as you go forward to make a difference in the world. Before I close, I beg your indulgence just for a moment. For me, the law is about justice and ensuring justice. Etched into the facade of the United States Supreme Court building are the words, equal justice under law. But the law has not always provided justice, much less equal justice, to all segments of our society. In my view, until we all receive justice, we will none of us receive justice. As law school graduates, you, members of the class of 2018, are among the privileged few. I ask that you use that privilege, the power that comes with that privilege, and the legal tools that you learned at this great law school to bend the moral arc of history toward justice. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Justice Page. It's customary at this point of our celebration to introduce the faculty member who this class has selected as Professor of the Year. And to do the honors, I call to the podium Kelsey Stahl and Amanda Heinrich-Milburn.
Welcome, everyone. This is Kelsey Stahl.
And this is Amanda Heinrichs-Milburn.
I think we can all agree that these last 3 years, that if it were not for the faculty and staff here at St. Thomas, we would have had a much more difficult path to graduation. But without their investment in us, we wouldn't have really been able to invest in ourselves, even though some parts were really hard.
Yeah, that one test was like really hard.
And that paper was so long.
Each year, the 3L graduating class is allowed to select which professor will hood them during the hooding ceremony at graduation. The hood represents a scholarly and personal achievement, and to be the person chosen to hood this new group of law graduates is a huge honor. The professor selected this year has been and forever will be invested in this school and its students.
This year, the 3L class recognizes Professor Julie Oside. If you don't know who Professor Oside is, you're missing out. But don't worry, she'll be at the reception afterwards. She has taught us to become great writers, advocates, and influencers. She is an inspirational gem, an amazing professor, and an even more amazing person.
It is our privilege to welcome to the stage Professor Oside, where she will hood the class of 2018.
Okay, now it's the moment you all came for. Let's proceed with the hooding ceremony. Associate Dean Joel Nichols will be calling out and pronouncing with exquisite precision the graduates' names. Professor Oside will be hooding each graduate. Our university president, Dr. Sullivan, will congratulate you and present you with a small token of our grateful appreciation. And I will give you a hearty handshake of congratulations and a not-to-be-missed photo opportunity. On that note, we have retained a professional photographer who will be taking an excellent photo of your favorite graduate and me, so don't feel the need to rush the stage to get photos during this portion of the ceremony. Thanks. And now we will begin.
Graduates, these graduates are receiving degrees in organizational ethics and compliance. Amy Hamilton Warwick. Michelle Klatt. Brenda Jo Nafziger. Tawny Lynn Trenberth. Ryan Patrick Vitek. Abby Lynn Ziegler. Graduates receiving the LLM in U.S. Law. Roque Albuja. Jose Santiago Almeida Falomir. Camilo Andrade. Stephanie Arevalo Chen. Paulo Castro. Katia Elizabeth DeWitt Torres. Chenxing Ding. Mauricio Duarte Lau. Shuo Fan. Karen Garcia Miranda. Denise Gutierrez Rayo. Melat Haile. Irene Herrera del Pozo. Jose Enrique Monzon Quesada. Xiayi Ren. Diana Rosenberg. Sukirti Shika. Pedro Pablo Torres Echeverry. Magdalena Sofia Vergara Vial. Wolyu Wang. Chifeng Wen. Yang Yuan. Graduates receiving the Juris Doctor degree. Mohammed Abu Malaya. Jessica Jaishri Algu. Raul Arambula. Zachary Paul Armstrong. Megan Virginia Ariola. Molly Elizabeth Beckius. Charles Blumendahl. Annie Badeau. Melissa Boomaglug. Mary Elizabeth Butler. Andrew Joseph Carballo. Connor Palmer Carey. Courtney Krastick. Aileen Nicole Conway. Joshua Joseph Curry. Wandwoson Joseph Darsebo. Jenna Elizabeth Dominic. Cody Dorumsgaard. Dan Dosh. Connor Andrew Francis Doyle. Charles Jordan Drapeau. Paul Inger. Jeremiah Stephen Enright IV. Amy Fiki. Stephen Folks. John Geeson. Benjamin David Gilman. Emily Lauren Ginsberg. Kathleen Gerke. Matthew Gospodarek. Zach Graham. Anna Guler. Jordan Hagert. Andrew Hansen. Benjamin Hargrove. Daniel Bartholomew Harrison. Kelly Kristen Joy Heenan. Amanda Lee Heinrichs Milburn. Anna Heisler. Megan Elizabeth Hennessy. Jordan Victoria Hinkle. Kelsey Horner. Molly Beth Huff. Jessica Huali Huang. Christopher Hernandez Heeson. Hannah K. Johnson. Being hooded by her father, B. Todd Jones, a member of the School of Law's Board of Governors, Stephanie Nicole Jones. Kylie Elizabeth Kaminsky. Kayla Kensley. Dane Paul Knudsen. Leah Koch. Kimberly Sue Kuchel. Francine Marie Kuplik. Sean Lanterman. Jessica Lanzi. Jacqueline Lee Leffner. Brittany Ann Liedl. Danielle Liebel. James O'Neill Sabino Lopez. Olivia Irene Luther. Mara McCafferty. Christopher Nichols. Next, being hooded by her sister, Kate Hibbard, a 2006 graduate of the School of Law and member of the Board of Governors, Mary Margaret Nicolai. Eddie Ocampo. Brittany Ann Oman. Muna Omar. Maggie Owen. Lindsay Sweet Pearson. Jake Walter Peden. Andrew Peterson. Casey Joe Phillips. Robin Polk. Jules Michelle Seraph Porter. Jenny Quintero. Taylor Dana Reeves. William Reynaga. Ricky Kelly Rodriguez. Michael John Roars. Lindsay Marie Rowland. Elizabeth Simonette Rundy. Ronnie Santana. Adam Jeffrey Schrader. Jessica Sandra Seikel. Just Karen Singh. Caitlin Spence. Kelsey Jean Marie Stahl. Stephen James Stark. Being hooded by her parents, Jim Street and Rachel Sibley, adjunct professors at the School of Law, Anna Grace Sibley Street. Next is Peter Strickland. Dorothy Summers. Charlene Sunderman. Michael Joseph Satkowski. Alexander Tillman. Erica Jenny Trabing. Vanessa Uko. Zachary Webster. Elena Elizabeth Winning. Rachel Ann Westcott. Emily Youngren. And last, Zachary Allen Zellickson, the class of 2018.
I now invite to the podium the president of the University of St. Thomas, Dr. Julie Sullivan, who will formally confer the Juris Doctor, LLM, and Masters in the Study of Law degrees on our graduates. Dr. Sullivan?
Thank you, Dean Vischer, and thank you all for being with us on this truly joyous occasion. I am very pleased and honored to be participating in the graduation ceremony of the class of 2018. The School of Law has been a great source of pride for me, for our trustees, and for the School of Law Board of Governors. We are very proud of the outstanding work of our law faculty and staff and of the great program that has been built together at this university. And we are most proud of you today, our 15th class of JD graduates and our 4th class of graduates in our compliance and LLM and U.S. law degree programs. I look forward to hearing about all that you will be achieving as outstanding legal professionals and leaders in your communities. Congratulations, and I wish you the best. So now, would the class of 2018 please rise? Upon the recommendation of the faculty, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I, Julie Sullivan, President of the University of St. Thomas, confer upon you the degrees from the University of St. Thomas to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Find a hat, any hat, and please be seated.
So the audience might have noticed how hesitant the graduates were to toss their caps in the air. It took a little while because they've been studying potential liability for 3 years. And so that was actually an admirable risk tolerance right there that you eventually got to. So nice work. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Quick housekeeping announcements as we close. First, I invite all of you to a reception in the Schultz Grand atrium of our law building, which is just a couple of blocks away down 12th Street. If your favorite graduate cannot direct you how to get there, I have some serious questions for their own class attendance over the last few years. Second, for those of you who might have some difficulty navigating the walk, we have a shuttle bus that will pick you up in front of the hotel. Third, I'd encourage all of you to post photos and favorite law school memories on Instagram and Twitter with the tag USTLawMN. Thank you. And fourth, since today is all about you, please don't fall into the trap of thinking that tomorrow is all about you as well. A friendly reminder that Mother's Day approaches, act accordingly. Now to conclude, this is the last time I'm going to have you all together as a captive audience, so I'm going to exercise the dean's prerogative and give you 2 final admonitions. First, as Dane spoke about, keep the sense of community you've had as a class going after you walk out of here today. One of the most jolting realizations for graduates is that they can't just show up at one place and everybody is there every day. It takes more intention, it takes more reaching out. You've got to be more proactive. So make the call, send the text, get together. And don't just stay in touch with each other, please stay in touch with us. We love to hear from alumni about what you're doing, where you're headed, how we can help. Many of you heard me talk way back in an admitted applicant event before you even enrolled, and one thing I emphasized then is that you will be just as much a part of our law school community when you're out there in the profession as when you are sitting in class. Community was an important part of your experience here. It's even more important in the years to come, so cherish what you have here and keep it going. Second, take a moment and appreciate this milestone. Lawyers by nature tend to be professional worriers. We're much better at dreading future worst-case scenarios than we are at appreciating the present. Today's milestone is big. You are law school graduates. Yes, you still have to pass the bar, and you should put everything you've got into making sure you do all the work your prep course asks you to do, but not today. And yes, many of you still have the job search hanging over you, and you need to take that seriously, but not today. Here's a little secret that your parents and older relatives can confirm on the chance that you haven't learned it yet. There will always be something big coming next to worry about. And when what's coming next occupies all of our waking moments, we can unintentionally diminish our capacity for joy. This is a moment for joy. Let yourself be present in the moment. I ask our guests today to remain seated until the platform party, our faculty, and the members of the class of 2018 have left the hall. Thank you very much. And now, platform party, faculty, and graduates, please rise.